Hi, guys. Welcome to Be the Victor. I'm here with another podcast. We're going to talk about things that help you out health, wellness, strength, and conditioning for guys. Today, we're going to talk about a couple little glands that sit right on top of your kidneys, your adrenal glands, and why they're important for your health and wellness, and actually why it's important to take care of these glands, particularly they have a big role in making you a man, who you are. So, like I said, there are these couple little glands that sit on top of your kidneys, and they are important for regulating blood pressure, electrolytes, balance, metabolism, immune function, your sex hormones, and your stress management. Now, a lot of people this day and age will talk about adrenal fatigue and exhaustion. But before I get going on giving you some easy ways to help out your adrenals, go into a little backstory. I've been working as a trainer for almost 25 years now, and I have had my own place for almost 20 of those years, or 20 plus years. And when I first started working, I was just excited about being in the gym. I got into health and wellness and strength and conditioning because, hey, I love to do it. And I thought, hey, I spend more time in the gym, I'm going to get fitter, leaner, stronger. But somewhere along the line, you're growing your business, you start working more hours. At one point, I was working 6 a.m. to about 7 p.m. Now, I was seeing some success, so I started allotting myself a lunch hour, which allowed me to train a little bit more during the middle of the day. And gradually, I started increasing the demands of my workouts. I really wanted to push myself. I really wanted to see increases in strength. And increases in athleticism. What started happening is I was starting to get aches and pains, but because of my knowledge in the field, I would just treat those aches and pains through rehabilitative exercise. Little by little, my caffeine started going up, my energy started going down, everything from my libido, my body fat started rising, and this is on a diet of mostly egg whites for breakfast. Midday was boiled chicken and broccoli, and a salad for dinner. My wife was looking at me like, "What the hell is wrong with you? I have babies at home, and you can't even keep up with me on a 2-mile run." I was wired and tired. My cortisol was inverted. In the end, I started throwing some heart palpitations. I asked a client who I was working with, I think I need to go to the doctor. That started way more questions than answers. In the end, I was seeing things like, oh, you're just going through andropause, or, you had some emotional trauma. All of it was just vague and ambiguous, and it just left me with more questions than answers. So I'm here to tell you that if you fry out those two little adrenals, those adrenal glands, you're going to end up with a wide array of issues on a wide scale of physical and emotional problems. And if you take care of your adrenal glands and understand how they're related with all the list that I mentioned before, then you can really put into place like, oh, you know what, I'm just recovering. This is why I'm feeling wired and tired. This is why I have an emotional link. This is why I feel a little down. So there are 4 indicators that I usually ask my clients, and sometimes I'm asking these questions on a daily basis. And I ask them when they come in to work out and during their warm-up, or we're doing some prehab, some stretching. The first thing I always ask is, hey, how are you sleeping? If you're not sleeping really well, or you're feeling very, very tired when you wake up, you're not feeling restorative sleep, that's my first indicator that you potentially could have some adrenal issues. Another is if you have a high stress life. Now, it's tough to come across anyone that doesn't have a high amount of stress in their lives in modern society, but it's how you handle it that becomes the difference, and what I'm finding is the difference. So stress, if you have high stress, whether it's relationship stress or work stress, that could also be an indicator of compromised adrenal glands. If your libido is lower than normal for you, I don't care what age you are, we do see some regression in testosterone, but libido also has some other intangibles that are not necessarily physiological. If you're seeing a dump in your libido, particularly if you're in your 30s and it's in the tank, you need to ask yourself, what's going on with my adrenal glands? And another question, like how are your cravings for salt and sweet? If you're having trouble, you're really drawn towards junk food, that could be another indicator. Remember, one of those things that I listed on there was an electrolyte balance. If you're reaching for those things, that's usually an indicator that you're having some issues with your adrenals as well. So going on from there are some I'm going to give you guys a list of things on how to manage these symptoms and how to take care of your adrenal glands. Aside from the most obvious, which is manage your stress, let's start off with vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is one of the easiest things I recommend to the vast majority of clients that I work with, regardless of your nutrition here, guys. And we can go into another podcast later, because if I had a quarter for every guy that told me, hey, man, I eat pretty good, I'd be a rich man. But eating pretty good is not enough these days. I usually recommend 9 out of 10 individuals that I work with are on some type of vitamin C supplementation. And it's one of the cheapest things and safest things to take in high quantities, and it helps blood sugar management. So if your blood sugar management is off, again, that could be an indicator of adrenal stress or adrenal fatigue. Vitamin C will definitely help that. And I recommend a varying amount of milligrams, but it's usually a good place to start is between 2,000 and 3,000 milligrams a day as an experiment for a week to make sure to see if there's an improvement in your blood sugar management. Number 2 is to shift your cortisol. Most people that have some adrenal fatigue issues have inverted cortisol. That means that you don't feel best until the sun goes down, like freaking vampire. If you're feeling best between 6 and 10 at night, you have inverted your cortisol. You should feel your best upon rising. That cortisol should be highest then, and then wane off and level off in the afternoon and go down as the sun sets, and that's when you're getting ready to go to bed. If you're getting ready to go to bed and you kind of feel invigorated, your cortisol is inverted. So how do you shift that cortisol? A lot of times light movement can help you get back into the right shift in your circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm sounds fancy, but it just comes down to energy, guys. In the morning, you should feel best. At night, right before bed, you should feel like you need to go to sleep. If it's opposite, we need to shift it. So you don't have to do it pharmaceutically. We just need to add some light movement. If your energy is really low and your cortisol is in the tank, then some light movement can make the difference. A brisk walk at the right time when you feel low in the afternoon can help create a little bit more spike in your cortisol to get you through to the evening and let it drop off. Okay? Third thing, manage your caffeine and sugar. At the peak of my adrenal exhaustion, I was able to put down a venti coffee and not really feel any difference in the morning. I was still dragging. I'd have a Red Bull or another, creatine, no explode before I'd work out just to get through my workout, because the workout actually made me feel better. But then it would drop off again and I would feel like I needed an afternoon coffee. Try to manage your caffeine. No caffeine afternoon, guys, okay? Even if you don't have an adrenal issue, it will still compromise the depth of your sleep at night. So if you're having coffee, which I do, and I advocate, I like my pour over, I'm not going to get rid of that. I'll usually have one cup of coffee in the morning upon rising and maybe one mid-morning, and that's it. I want everything else to be working on natural energy derived from food. And caffeine goes hand in hand with sugar. If you're feeling like you need sugar to get to a sugary snack to get to the next, you're generating energy through caffeine and sugar. That's not what we want from our bodies. We want our bodies to get energy from the food, and good whole food that we're eating, guys. Number 4, manage your stress. Take care of your shiznit, guys. If you cannot manage your stress, it will literally drain your adrenals, and you will end up in the tank and have adrenal exhaustion or adrenal fatigue. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean like I did, like I just kind of ignored it, like push through? No, you got to learn to respect the fact that you are working very hard. You are juggling a lot of things. How are you going to decompress? Again, you can do this pharmaceutically, or you can learn to start to look inside and figure out what helps you decompress. A nice slow walk, little meditation, yoga, a slow jog, even light exercise. Now, I say light exercise because oftentimes a workout can relieve stress. But remember, a very intense HIIT workout or a very intense weightlifting workout is also a stress on the body. The body doesn't see it as like, oh, he really enjoys it, so we're not going to put out the same stress hormones. It does the same thing. So it's important to balance that out. Oftentimes I like to work out or move multiple times a day. And the other times throughout the day, I have my intense exercise, but I want other exercise movements that are invigorating and have a positive effect on my stress. Okay, so keep that in mind. And the last thing, which is probably the most valuable, is to get a coach. I pride myself on my ability to create workouts that are going to get results, but keep the physical body and the mental in balance. It's real easy for me, and I tell this to clients almost daily, like real easy for me to put you at a position where you can't walk the next day. You are so sore. But the art of coaching or the art of training or the art of being a strength coach is to create just enough stress to get the results the individual wants. So if you have any other questions, guys, I know I just scratched the surface on your adrenals, but hopefully you get a little insight on how to take care of them. Check us out at Nomads with a Purpose. And remember, this is what I do for a living, guys. So if you need help, I can work one-on-one with you, or check out my VIX coaching series. This creates a perfect balance, perfect workouts, especially for guys. Thanks a lot.